In a previous video, I showed you how to add appointments from Excel into your Outlook calendar. It did something like this. Today, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to take the appointments out of Outlook, put them into Excel, and then delete some or all of the appointments. We can do a lot of neat things like specify which appointments to delete by certain characteristics, maybe some date ranges, stuff like that. All right, so enough with the introductions. Let's just get right into it. If your goal is to just delete a whole bunch of appointments in Outlook, there's a really easy way to do it. You can go to Change View here, go to List, and you can sort by, say, a subject, maybe the time, and then you can just hold down the Control button, click on the ones that you want to get rid of, and then you can just right-click and delete. Or you can just hold down the Shift button, click to the end, and you can delete that way too. Chances are, though, you want to do something a little more sophisticated, and that's okay. That's why we're here. All right, the first thing we want to do is get these appointments into an Excel file. So there's a bunch of ways you can do that. Let's do it this easy way. Let's go to File, Open and Export, Import, Export, Export to a file, and this is going to be a CSV. So right here, the CSV, hit Next. And my appointments here are just in Calendar. Make sure you select the right one for you. And let's just call this, I don't know, appointments. Hit Next, Finish. And you can set the date range here. I don't need it to go in the future, obviously, because it's June. So I will say 30th, 2024. And we'll get everything from May to June 30th. Let's hit OK. Now, this could take a while depending on how many appointments you have in here and your date range, but just wait for it. You'll be fine. And if not, just let me know, and I can help you find some workarounds so it doesn't freeze up on you, but it shouldn't. You should be fine. All right, let's go ahead and open the CSV. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, so we have a bunch of columns here. We want to expand this a little bit so we can actually see what this looks like. Looks good. And we need to see every little bit of detail here. What we want to do here is add a delete column under a column W. All right, so once you've added that, go ahead and hit Alt and F11. If you have the developer tab here, you can just go like that. Otherwise, just hit Alt and F11 though. But let's just go on this workbook. All right, let's throw in our code right here. And don't worry, I'll provide this in the video description, so you'll be all good, don't worry. All right, so what we're doing here, these are variables that we're going to be using throughout the code, and we're just defining them. These are like containers that store data values. So these are things like objects for Outlook. This is the application, the namespace, the folder we're going to be working with, and so on. Now, I marked this up pretty good, so I'm not going to get in a ton of detail. Just ask questions if you have it, though. But I'm going to try to go through this relatively quickly. All right, so right here, we're setting up some Outlook objects, all right? So this is an acknowledgement that we're working with Outlook right there, okay? This is getting our default namespace, MAPI, which in the context of Microsoft Outlook allows for email clients to interact with the mail server and do things like manage emails, appointments, stuff like that. Now we're setting the folder right here, and 9, that corresponds to the folder calendar. So if we had like 6, for example, that would go to your inbox. That would be your inbox folder, and then there's drafts, sent mail, and so on. If you look to the right of the screen there, it kind of shows you how this all works. There's a few examples there. Well, what we care about is our folder calendar. Okay, this right here, I don't know if we need this, but this includes recurring meetings, and I don't think we have any in the sample I provided, but better to include than exclude. All right, so if we have an error, we're going to go to error handler here, and that's going to kind of tell us what's going on a little bit. Pretty simple. And we're referencing this workbook that we have open. Our worksheet here, it's called appointments. Okay, that's going to be what you have right here. Now, if this doesn't match up with that, you're going to run into some issues. You're going to get a subscript error, I believe it is. And if it is, don't worry, just go back there and fix it. All right, so the comment here kind of says it all. It finds the last non-empty row in column B of the worksheet, which contains the start dates of the appointments, and it helps determine the range of the rows to process. And it keeps going up. Now in Excel, row indexing typically starts at 1, but the first row is often headers, so that's your column name, stuff like that. So actual data starts at 2. That's how we're going to do this. That's why we have it set up like this. We want to get the earliest date and the latest date for that specific row. Some appointments are, multiple days. Typically the ones I have are same day. So, all right, we're going to get a date range here so we can restrict the Outlook items to that specific date range. If we only want appointments from January 1st, 2024 to December 31st, 2024, that way we wouldn't have to go through the last 10 years of appointments and use up our computer's resources. This is helpful to understand what's going on if you have any issues. So this prints messages to the immediate window in the VBA editor, not to a message box like you might see those pop-ups that say, okay, do you click on? Not that. It's a useful tool for debugging as it allows you to see directly what's going on in the VBA editor while the code is running. Again, not absolutely essential, but helpful. All right, this is our giant loop right here. I guess it's not giant, but what we're doing is we're going through each appointment range and checks if there's an X in the delete column, which is column W in our case. If there is, it parses the subject, the start time, the start date from the worksheet, and it constructs that filter string I was just telling you about a little bit ago. It uses the find method to locate the appointment, and when the appointment is found, it is deleted. And then once we're done with that row, we go on to the next one, and we keep going until there are no more rows to go through. Okay? So right here, we are releasing our Outlook objects. Why do we do that? Well, once we release these, it'll stop consuming so many system resources. And keeping these things going unnecessarily can lead to conflicts or weird unexpected behavior in Outlook, especially if you have another Microsoft Office application open. Some weird stuff can happen, so it's just not worth it. Just do this and you'll be good. Now we're getting at the end here. This is going to summarize everything for us. This is that message box that comes up where you hit OK. It's going to summarize everything though, the number that were deleted and the number that were not found right there. Okay. And this is that error handler I told you about earlier that kind of gives you an idea of, okay, what happened here? Okay. So this all looks good. Let's minimize this for a minute. And right now, why don't we just put X's here? So I'm going to drag this all the way down. Yeah, let's do that one too. Okay. All right, so you can hit Alt and F11 to get back there if you have the Developer tab. Click back here. And let's take a look at our calendar too. All right. Okay, let's get one last look here. All right, let's go. So go up to Run Sub. There we go. They're all deleted. All right, let's go back here. Why don't we fix the view here a little bit? It's just kind of hard to look at all this. Set the row height to like 15 or so. All right. So let's say we want to find an easy way to get rid of our lunches or meetings with the CEO. How about that? All right. So let's look on the 18th. What do we have going on the 18th? Okay. So we have lunch with the CEO and we have meet with the CEO. All right. What we can do here is go on data here, make sure filter is clicked. And for subject right here, why don't we go here, go to text filter, contains CEO. We'll do a space too, so that kind of implies that it's a single word and not part of another word. All right, why don't we hit OK? All right, so we have a few things here. We have 3 appointments. We have one on the 13th as well. So I want to look at that real quick. 13th. Okay. I'm going to just go like this. This is a better view, so that works a little bit better. So this right here, this, and this. We want all those to disappear. Let's give it a try. Oh, of course. We want to put the X's here. Can't forget the X's. All right. Makes this real simple. Now, there are much more advanced ways to do this. I could give you an input box that you could just type the value in. It'd automatically filter that. I'm trying to keep this simple, though. So those of you that aren't super tech savvy can get something working and maybe just get excited about coding in general. But if that's something you want to do, let me know. I can give you some code for that or help you with that. No problem. So let's go back here, hit Alt and F11 or the Visual Basic button if you have the Developer tab. Let's get this out of the way and let's see if this works. All right, so we got 3 deleted and it looks like it worked. Let's just look on here to be sure. Yes, it looks like it. So this is just a snippet of what you can do. I just thought this might be helpful. A nice follow-up to the one that I did a few months back where I showed you how to add appointments from Excel to Outlook. I thought this would just be sort of a cool contrast. Anyways, thank you so much for watching and subscribing, commenting, liking, and all that. It means a lot, helps the channel a lot. And with that, I'll talk to you all later. Take care.